Lo tiran para afuera. No, y eso que te digo. Ellos lo hacen así.
Yo no lo sé.
Yo vi los de la casa de la esquina del otro lado del cementerio, al frente del puesto de gasolina, está lo de los lots. La casa de la esquina, ellos hacen el patio y tiran todo abajo. Yo lo he visto.
Ok, ya. Bueno, de una battery, okay? Battery. Good evening, welcome to the special city council meeting today, Monday, June 1st, 2026, at 5:33 p.m. Mr. Clerk, please call for.
Councilperson Baena, absent. Councilperson Kazarian, absent. Councilperson Figueroa. Present. Councilperson Rosado Martinez.
Present.
Councilperson Solano.
Present.
Council President Ferry, absent, and Council President Pro Tempore. We have quorum.
Okay, this item on the agenda.
Next on the agenda is the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The next item on the agenda is public comment.
Public coming open, no more registered for public comment closed. Ese es the agenda.
Next item on the agenda under new business is City Council sitting as Board of License Commissioners, hearing and consideration of a petition of license. FF1 Mundialito doing business as Latino Business Alliance, 6 Chase Lane, Central Falls. The applicant is Fred Ordonez. He's not here. They were actually granted permission to do a entertainment event for a business expo, and they've asked if they can possibly also serve liquor, and this is why the upfront being presented today.
Okay. And I think so, okay, I heard that they have security also on the side.
They do have security. We have Major Carroll here. He can attest to that.
And Mayor, how are you?
Hi. Sorry for my tardiness. I've spoken to Ms. Garcia, who was the person that was running the event. I believe they were going to try to get external security, but I thought there was an issue of cost. But there are going to be 2 police officers, and I believe, excuse me, 1 firefighter assigned to the event. We've been told it was going to be between 150 and 200 people. Originally, it was going to be 1 officer, but then when we were told that they were in the process of getting a license to serve alcohol, that obviously we doubled the security.
Okay. All right. Thank you for the information. And I think with the all information that the Mayor Farrell provided to us and the police fire department present on the event, I think we are waiting for now to this license. I need a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Councilmember Samar made the motion. Councilmember Solano second, with that say, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. For the record, Mr. Clerk, Councilmember Baena and Councilmember Kazarian arriving on 5:36 p.m.
President. Next item on the agenda is item B, discussion with the company directors regarding fiscal year 27 proposal budget. We have the legal department, Solicitor Jersey.
Thank you.
Hello. Mr. President, it's my pleasure to present the budget for the Central Falls Law Department, and I appreciate your flexibility in moving this to today in lieu of everything that was going on in the State House last week. The Law Department has requested a few changes this year. Namely, we have moved the position of the lead poisoning prevention coordinator, the domestic violence task force coordinator, reduces task force coordinator. We've merged those all into one position and created a new part-time position called legal coordinator. The person who will be running all three of those programs, you may recall that Heidi Silverio unfortunately had to leave us to go to Rhode Island Housing, who's oversees our lead program, so in many ways it was a great promotion for her. We're so proud of her and the work that she's done. Alma Ankara, who's in our office and has been leading the domestic violence task force and the nuisance task force under this budget, would also assume the responsibilities of the lead program, which she's been very familiar with because she's in housing court every month. And then Kimberly Pineda, who is our current intern, would move to a part-time legal coordinator position to ensure that we have a licensed attorney as well as a Spanish-speaking person handling all lead, nuisance, and DV-related issues. Kimberly's been a great addition to our office. We're excited about the prospect of her continuing. Aside from those changes, the structure of the department remains the same. I would remain a solicitor. The office of Dare Everett would handle our criminal prosecutions every Tuesday in district court, and Charles Ruggiero continues to handle our union negotiations. Relative to goals and objectives, in the excuse me one second, silence. We have really made a focus on supporting the mayor's three priorities in that El Centro has needed quite a bit of legal work in terms of contracts, but also some recent issues with shared walls with neighbors. The new high school and now transitioning to the Raices pre-K building. You may recall that we had some issues with the track and field behind the new high school, which we continue to be presented challenges with both financially and legally in terms of the neighbors behind that property. And then finally, with the various housing projects in the city, we continue to think about creative ways to use our legal system to acquire property, either through the receivership program in our municipal court or partner with state agencies to continue to add more housing units. And then the fourth bucket really is the state legislature. So this year we have 4 priority bills that my office has had a role of drafting and advocating for. The first is, as I just said, the high school track and field. We had to, initially last year we passed the local bond for $15 million, but because that was exceeded, we went back to give the finance director the authority for $25 million. That legislation is currently being passed over the House and Senate. The local control legislation, which would give Central Falls back its schools, had a pretty momentous occasion on Friday when the state budget was released, and the budget included our legislation for local control, which would mean the city regains local control the minute the budget becomes law, which should be sometime between June 18th and July 1. In addition to that, we had legislation for our police and fire unions, which you may recall, we just did a resolution, I think at your last meeting, in support, which would give the actives, police and fire, equity in their pension payouts. And so that's what's been going on at the State House. There's a few other items that I put in our priorities. One involves the Wyatt, and I know we've discussed this a couple times, and we're looking, and knock on the proverbial wood. I think last year I said we were going to have this litigation complete by in this fiscal year, and it should have been, but it will happen in the next couple of months. We'll reach hopefully a very good conclusion of that litigation. And then we have been increasingly focused on how we can support the Central Falls High School Law and Advocacy or Law and Society CTE track. So currently it has about 48 students. And we've just been thinking about how can we encourage our high schoolers to think about a career either in the law or law enforcement or paralegal. There's so many different careers. You can do forensics. So we brought them to district court. We've had them meet with district court judges. We recently brought them to federal court. We had them meet all of the federal judges. They watched a hearing, sentencing hearing for drug dealers live, which was fascinating. We've also brought them to the State House, and we had a nice afternoon talking about teen dating violence and sextortion. And while these topics don't sound that kind of exciting or grabbing of attention, the students actually stayed quite a while after the school day had ended because they were so interested in these conversations. And I think, in addition to that, the other thing I wanted to highlight for the council is that we're trying to slowly and methodically move our housing court and code enforcement records into a digitized archive. So when you go into DPW, you see these huge cabinets that are filled with files that go back 100 years. And we have, over the last couple of years, retained the same company that handles all of our permits. It's called OpenGov. And we're trying to move all of our lead poisoning complaints, our environmental tickets, and our code enforcement tickets. We're putting them into this digitized system and then using our interns to scan in files that have already been in. So we're turning those paper cabinets into digital cabinets in an effort to strengthen the city's security of those documents. Yeah, I'm happy to take any questions.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, City Solicitor, for explaining everything about the legal department. The first question I have, you clarified to me when your introduction regarding the new position for the legal program position from 64,000 to 105,000. Thank you for clarifying that information. Also, my other question for the legal coordinator position, you also explaining in the beginning. I want to say, thank you for doing that, and thank you because I know the whole staff worked really well in the last 5 years. Awareness about that because I share a couple of properties to you and I see how the department working by the way on that, and that's very good for keep moving the economic development and the properly apply the city central force. Yeah, I appreciated that by city resident, by councilman for the city. Alright, so I assuming for the other professional services, is your salary and also you as the assistant, right, for the city solicitor too?
Yes.
Perfect, thank you. I don't have any more questions about the budget because you explained it. I'm just say thank you again for everything the department do for keep moving forward the citizens for this administration. And not any of my colleagues have questions or comments for the city solicitor.
I have a couple questions. Thank you, Mrs. Solicitor. You did answer a few of my questions already. I have some more questions to my colleague. One clarifying question I had in the FY27 goals and objectives was around the housing and redevelopment. It says to continue partnerships with planning department or redevelopment agency toward the successful creation of more than 200 units of safe and affordable housing. Are those an additional 200 to I know we've been building, I know the mayor, this was a really big priority for her when she began and we've been moving towards that goal that she had presented at the beginning. And so my question is around clarifying if this is an additional 200 or if the ones that we've already built are included in these 200, because I think this is a carryover from a previous goal as well, so just wanted clarity on that.
Yeah, we have a master tracking sheet we use for our bi-monthly housing meetings that track kind of the progress of these projects. It has been an overall goal for the last 4 years to achieve that 200. Included in that is, for example, I think 65 units at School Street, which just received its financial award recently, will start construction soon, so, you know, obviously across the street, Dunkin' Donuts, to a police station, a lot of these projects are in the works, but people haven't moved in yet, so it is an ongoing goal, but we're making progress with each one, and I think the next big chunk will be what happens at Kona Thread, which is currently in special mastership, and we've been working with the special master and the city of Pawtucket, a joint city plan for what is gonna happen there, which is gonna include public conversations with the neighborhood. But, you know, in the perfect world, that will be somewhere between 300 and 1,000 units of more housing. It'll take a decade to complete, but that 200 number is for most of the projects that you're probably already aware of.
Okay, so it's not like a extra, barring the Conant Thread developments, like we're not thinking of adding an extra 200 units on top of what we've already added.
No, I don't know the exact number, but I do think we have gotten past 200 at this point because of the development on Roosevelt along the river. That's 106 units, I believe, just on its own. So if you add that plus PCFD plus the Broad Street Homes and 7 or 8 of these other small projects, I think you're probably closer to 300 than 200, but I can track down that document.
Yeah, but I guess what I'm saying is like, all of those added, like is your goal to add 200 more units?
No, it's just referencing the same.
Oh, okay, thank you. That was my question. The other one was for nuisance task force. It looks like, we budgeted, the heading starts to rub me off because they're a year behind, but, looks like the actuals for FY25 were 12K, about almost 13K, but the budget for FY26 was 0. The actual is currently 0. The proposed for FY27 is 0. Do we envision that there'll be any expense in that nuisance task force as there was in FY25 line? At the top it says that FY24.
Yeah, we have this expense line item, and then we have our revenue line item, which should be near the front of your budget book. I believe it's one of the last, it's on, the last item here for revenue, it shows we brought in about $17,000 in revenue from the task force so far this fiscal year. We budgeted about 20. So we try to keep expenses to 0, as you can see, and really use the law department to try to bring in revenue. A lot of that, I'll give you an example, has to do with holding landlords accountable in housing court, where they are, like for example, we won for the first time a ruling for contempt of court where we caught the landlord lying to the judge and we got $5,000 and we put that towards this line item. So that really represents kind of accountability for wayward landlords. But yeah, I mean, in regards to expenses, we have kept it at 0 for the last 2 years and hope to keep it at 0.
Cool.
Anyone else? All right. Thank you, Citizen Zero.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Next
item
item
on the agenda.
The next item on the agenda, under 5 is scheduled bills, hearing and/or consideration. Under A is fiscal year 2027 annual operating budget ordinance, general fund, carried by request, first reading.
Will you give me enough time? Everybody ready, so we can close? Yes, I did.
Council President Pro Tempore, this is the first reading. Discussion.
Discussion? Yes.
I have a couple, it's this one, so yes.
Yes.
Can you remind me, just because the one that I have, the printed version?
Yep.
Was not the updated one, just remind us what the, rates were last year? Right, cause it's for the, I'm talking about this page.
Yeah, so that page that you have is correct, there was no changes there.
No, this one's the one for this year, is also the same one from
Yeah,
last year?
because in that verbiage, it gives last year's rates as well. It'll give you the proposed and compare it to prior.
¿Cómo está? Bienvenida.
Hola, buenas tardes.
Ya fue aprobado.
Ah, ok.
Ya pasó y fue aprobado.
Ah, muchas gracias.
¿Ok? Para que no tengan que esperar aquí ya.
Ok, muchas gracias.
De nada, feliz tarde.
No, I'm wrong. That was in the newspaper clipping that it compared to prior, so hold on.
No worries, no worries. I do have the one that like we had originally passed, but I don't know if.
Nothing changed in that.
Nothing changed.
Nothing changed in the tax levy, it was more in the expenses.
In like the actual
Yep,
expenses?
yep.
Okay, perfect. So my question is about, the rates. So it looks like the residential owner occupied, increased a bit, as well as the non-owner occupied. The owner occupied seems like it increased the most, along with the commercial industrial. Tangible stayed at 38.33. Can you just share a little bit about, I know when we were considering the rates, or when you were considering the rates, you were trying to figure out like a balance, right? To not try to overtax certain, like specific properties.
Yep.
And so just kind of the rationale around the residential owner occupied, cause it seems like it's the highest increase at about, hold on, let me do the math again, sorry, I had it earlier. It was my first day at work, so I'm a little.
So I think that the rates, one increased 3.94, one 3.97, and one 4.
Okay,
So they were, like we talked about, we tried to spread the increase evenly over each of the property categories. The tangible rate is by state law, that needs to be stable, we can't change that one.
okay. That's helpful. Which one was the 4%? Do you know?
Yeah, I do. Hold. Commercial.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
I really appreciate that clarification. My other question was in the other revenue. It looks like we're considering an extra $30,000 on the following page. Where it says general fund revenue for FY 27, other revenue, 1,500. Can you just remind us what the 30K
Increases.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on. That's right here. Those are, due to the activity of all of our, code department, those are revenue on our liens. And we're getting a lot more, revenue from that. The sad part of that is they're not paying
Yeah.
their original invoices or the original, documents, but that's related to liens.
Awesome, thank you. And I apologize, I didn't have a chance to send these ahead of time.
No reason to apologize.
And then my other question was around city boards. Looks like it went down. Do we think it's because, in terms of the general fund expenditures, I
Yeah.
should say?
Yeah.
It's about 3K that went down, but is it because we're like, I know at one point it increased because we were thinking about reserves for some boards and stuff like that. Do you know?
I do know, and maybe, Matt Jersey can help us. We combined the zoning
Oh,
and the
that's right,
planning boards,
sorry.
and so we reduced the number of people.
Yes.
So there's no change in rates, it's just change in numbers.
Thank you
Yeah.
for that, reminder. And then the city debt service, the 100K,
Mm-hmm. Increase or?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we have, additional debt due to the high school. And that's what that's related to. So as you know, the high school was funded primarily from the state, but we have to pay our portion of the 3.5%
Yeah.
of that or whatever it happens to be.
where would we find the, or is it reflected, the, new, the amount that we have to pay for the schools, the 1% of our tax levy, for like, if it was to pass?
I don't know if our 3.7 changed, 3.9, whatever it was, changed. It stays the same.
No, for, you know how like we're proposing local control?
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry, ask the question, start over again.
Yeah, so my question is, you know how we're proposing
Yes.
local control?
Yes.
And there's, I believe a 1% of.
Yes, sorry.
Where would we see that reflected?
That's in the last category of expenses. There's school funding there. And, that amount is the 1% that we've committed for local funding, plus to keep our education strategists on for 1 year to help in the transition.
So it's all in one?
Yep,
Okay.
that's what that line item represents.
Perfect, thank you.
Sorry.
I have a couple other ones. My last one, because most of these were answered during our discussion with department heads.
Yep.
And via email, thank you again for your responsiveness.
Of course.
The Deputy Director of Human Resources, so it looks like mostly everyone received, like a cost of living
Yep.
increase, but it looks like that position stayed the same, the Deputy Director.
You explained in the last meeting que son here. You explained it already.
Yes, is regarding the increase.
Of the deputy of HR.
No,
Yeah.
there's no,
So, because you know what's here in that meeting for that. So you can explain again to the councilwoman about the
Yes.
case clarified to give the more of the 2%.
Yes, so the Deputy Director for Human Resources, was provided we are proposing to provide her with a raise of 5,000. And this is, based on job performance and duties assigned. And so that is, you should see that in the, sub A that was sent over when the agenda was sent over for this week.
so am I looking at the wrong line, because it says 63,985 and 63,985 for both years.
So,
You provide a copy that day when the.
yes, we have a copy. Thank you.
It's in the documents.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk.
It was a
Yeah, so that was
It was a
a
typo.
Oh,
typo,
I
and
see.
originally a typo in this particular page of the document, and so we provided that amendment.
Thank you, I missed this.
No, that is totally fine.
Thank you.
So that amount is included, embedded in the cost within the thing, it was just.
It was
that's
just a
our
typo,
amendment.
that's okay. Yeah, I hadn't seen this.
No, no worries, no
What
worries.
happened the same to me, I asked you the same question.
Oh, that's funny. Thank you.
Anyone have any other question? No more question for that? Okay. The motion to approve, Councilman Solano made the motion. Councilman Peguero second. Yes, please roll call.
Council President Diana,
Yes.
Council President Kazarian,
Yes.
Council President Tejero, Council President Rosado Martinez,
Yes.
Council President Solano,
Yes.
Council President Pro Tem Lugo
Yes.
Rios-Soto. Motion passes 6-0.
Thank you.
The next item on the agenda under B is ordinance pertaining to salaries of department heads and others unclassified services, sub A, carried by request, first reading.
Being open, no worries, the public meeting. Close. Alright, discussion about it. Anyone have any comment, question about the ordinance?
No, I think, most of the questions were answered, via email and during our discussions. So I would, if my colleagues agree, I would make the motion.
Thank you, Councilwoman Baena. Councilwoman Baena made the motion.
I'll second.
Councilwoman Rosado Martinez second. With that said, please roll call, Mr. Clerk.
Council President Diana,
Yes.
Council President Kazarian,
Yes.
Council President Tejero,
Yes.
Council President Rosado Martinez,
Yes.
Council President Solano,
Yes.
Council President Pro Tem Rios-Soto.
Yes.
Motion passes 6-0.
Thank you.
The next item on the agenda under C is ordinance amending wage schedule generally, carried by request, first reading.
Meeting open, no worries, the public meeting closed. Now, discussion, anyone have question about the ordinance amending the wage schedule generally? No?
These are mostly contracts, but
Yes.
like contract
They,
obligations.
they exactly reflect what was approved in the union contract.
All right, any the motion?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Councilman Casares made the motion.
Second.
Councilman Pereira second, with the same roll call, Mr. Clerk.
Council President Diana,
Yes.
Council President Kazarian,
Yes.
Council President Tejero,
Yes.
Council President Rosado Martinez,
Yes.
Council President Solano,
Yes.
Council President Pro Tem Rios-Soto.
Yes.
Motion passes 6-0.
Thank you.
The next item on the agenda under D is annual capital program and capital budget ordinance, carried by request, first reading.
Public hearing open. Moderator, open the rules, discussion. Any question about the annual capital program? Don't have any question or comment? please, the motion.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Councilman Casaria made the motion.
Second.
Councilman Solano second, with the same roll call, Mr. Clerk.
Council President Baena,
Yes.
Council President Kazarian,
Yes.
Council President Figueroa,
Yes.
Council President Rodal Martinez,
Yes.
Council President Solano,
Yes.
Council President Pro Tem Rivas Ludo.
Yes,
Motion passes 6-0.
thank you.
The next item on the agenda is adjournment.
Okay, thank you. Any motion to adjourn?
Second.
Councilman Figueroa made the motion, Councilwoman Baena second. With that say, please, all in favor say aye. Aye. This meeting concludes at 6:07. Thank you so much.